Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is not your typical Tuesday, and of course we are still working in the mystical lands of Ushana from Karen E. Myers, or by Karen E. Myers. We have been working on this lovely page. We started this on Saturday, and we're going to be working on this page with a medium that I'm okay with. I'm not used to it, but I am okay with it. Um, it's not one I use very often, but I did practice a little bit last night with it and did this one here. So we're going to be using oil pastels. Oil pastels, yay. And we're going to do the works on the plaster here. So we're going to try to mimic this plaster on this part here with the oil pastels. And we'll see how long that takes us. And if it doesn't take us very long, we'll do this mushroom here. So let's get started. I have the Paul Rubin oil pastels. And I think I want to start with well, we're going to use bean yellow and unbleached dioxide. So let's grab those. There's light yellow, lemon yellow. So there's bean yellow and unbleached dioxide. So these two here, I think are going to be our closest. So we're going to start with this one here. Now what I do to apply the pigment onto the page is I take the pastel and I scrape it with my paper stub. And these are just paper stubs. And then I apply it. I'm going to start over here in the corner. And gently spread it around. Now, I would put you on the close-up camera, but you're not going to get a very good visual even on the close-up camera because my hand is going to be in the way. So this is the unbleached dioxide, and as you can see, the further I spread it around, the thinner it gets, so the lighter it gets. And I think that's pretty close. It's a little bit less yellow, but that's okay. Just trying to get into all those little areas. I'm not too concerned about going over top of the leaves and that sort of thing a little bit, because I will be using colored pencils over top of it for those parts. And basically you just use it the same way you would a colored pencil. It's a little bit easier than a colored pencil because it does spread really nicely. I don't know about cheaper oil pastels. These are a artist grade oil pastel. Um, the person that taught me how to do this through her videos was Amazon Tammy. So she does have some videos from last year that she uses oil pastels in. So if you want a more in-depth or another point of view on using them, make sure you go over and visit Tammy on her channel. I will leave a link in the description. So I got a bit on an area I didn't want it on, so I'm just going to take a clean paper stub and just lift that up. And then we'll continue. So you can just lift it up if you get it on an area you don't want it on. Just use a clean paper stub and just lift it off. and you just spread it out. It doesn't go through the page. So as you can see on this side of the page, it doesn't go through. I am going to put my color chart. No, I'm going to grab another piece of paper because the ink on these pages does have a tendency, if you push hard on it, does have a tendency to go through. So I'm just going to grab a sheet of paper, maybe. There we go. Just to put behind the picture so that it doesn't go through to the other side there. Just so I don't lose the ink from the other page. Because sometimes, especially if you have a really dark ink, it will build up on the back side of the page and you'll get a shadow that you don't want. This is definitely one of the easiest and quickest ways to cover a large area. So if you want to use, say, a pan pastel or that sort of thing, that is absolutely the quickest way to do it. But if you want to get really close into areas and get a good coverage, this is another way of doing that. Okay, I'm going to finish up this side and then we'll do the shadow areas. And then we'll continue on to the other side. Actually, we can just do the whole thing. The only thing that you have to be concerned about or worry about while you're putting this down is making sure that it's thin enough that it doesn't look clumpy and spread out enough that it looks like a smooth application, because you can end up putting on too much in one area and not spreading it out enough, and then it'll look a little clumpy in that area. Now I'm going to thin it out as I get into this light source area, because I want that color to still be there, but we're going to be putting that light source over top of it. So just do it really thin in that area. And I will be going through and adding the bean yellow into our shadow areas as well, just to give it a good cohesive feel throughout the entire plaster area. Charlotte, go lie down. I'm not. Charlotte, that's enough. Go lie down. I don't know why my dog is whining. She thinks I'm talking to Grandma or something. It's enough. She has a tendency to think that if I'm talking on the headset, she needs to have a treat, and it's not the way it goes. Shiloh, that's enough. So as you can see, it just blends. It just moves around, and you can get it to be either light or dark. You can pick it up with your paper stub and move it around and just spread it out. This area here is a little bit too light, so we're just going to fill it in. Just going to move some of that darker stuff around and fill in other areas with it. Just smooth it all out. And I don't know why my dog is being like this. Sorry guys, she's stressing me out. I'm also going to try not to put too much around the windows as well, and keep those windows shadowed a little bit. Or not shadowed, but lightened. Shiloh, stop it! That's enough. Sorry guys. She has a tendency to think that I'm not allowed to talk. She does that when I talk to other people. Drives me crazy. Okay, so we're almost all done with the plaster under part. Just gonna finish this off, and then we'll put in the shadow areas and the other tone, and then we'll go through and we'll blend it together. And like I said, if you want to see a really, really in-depth, much more colors and many more different blends in this process, go check out Amazon Tammy's channel. Like I said, she did a couple of them last year, and they're just gorgeous. She did a gnomes one, and she did a desert, um, Australian desert type of one too. She's done a few, but yeah, it's all her fault. It's kind of my fault because I sent them to her, but her fault for showing them to me. All right, so we are done with the base color. Now I'm going to take a thinner one because I have to go into some of the smaller details. So I've got a smaller nub here, and again, just going to pick that up, make sure I don't have any huge chunks, and we're going to put in some shadowy areas here. And I don't think that's the right color. Let's just blend it out a little bit. It's not too bad. I think I want something a little bit lighter than that. Or darker, I mean. Alright, so I'm going to take my paper stub here, the big one, and just blend that out a little bit more. We are going to put a little bit of this bean yellow in different areas, like around this light, but I think I'm going to change my dark color, because this isn't really dark, to a dark color. we are going to put in the bean yellow for the light areas. So areas that we want that yellow to be showing through. I'm just going to get it down on the page here, and then we'll blend it together. So I'm going to take a clean paper stump, and I'm just going to blend that out into the other color. To give that light glow. And we're going to do the same thing around the windows. Yeah, in through here and out through here. Put a little bit on the plants. Not a whole lot because the bricks are going to be blocking it a little bit. And we will be adding the brick colors to those bricks. Okay, so now we're going to find our darker color here. Let's see. What do we got? Maybe a touch of deep brown. Let's take a look at the deep brown. I think that's this one. It might be this one. Yeah, okay. So we're going to take the other end of the paper stub here. I gotta get a new one of these. This one's starting to get all wonky. And it's starting to get a little flimsy. And we're just gonna, yeah, it's a little better. Do our shadow area on the other side of the mushroom here. And then we'll take our clean paper stub and we'll just blend it out a little. Don't lift it up, but just gently blend it out to get rid of that darker edge there. And cover up the shadow areas. Yeah, that works. That looks good. Just trying to not put in too much. Though, like I said, I'm just going to use a clean paper stub and blend it out anyway. So I'm not too worried about how much I put on, just as long as I spread it out a little bit so I don't have any huge clumps. Like so. And down into our cracks as well. Now that I've got the color that I wanted, I can just go around and do every little area that I wanted to do with it and go through with the paper stump and spread it out. Or lift it up if I put too much. Like so. Make sure you get into those cracks. Like that. I think we want a little bit down here as well. Okay. Now we're going to take our paper stump and we're just going to spread that around and draw it out into those spaces that need to be a little bit darker. Smoothing it out. Don't worry about the edges too much at this point because we are going to be blending that in with a little bit more of the base color just to soften any sort of edges that may have too much brown. Like this one here has a little bit too much, so I'm just going to erase it a little bit. Just going to blend it in a little bit more and pick up some of that. Like so. Okay, once again down here there's a little bit too much, so we're just going to blend it in. Just take the clean area and just blend it in. Like so. Alright, now we're going to go back to our unbleached dioxide. And we're just going to add a little bit more and blend that into those shadow areas just to get rid of any harsh lines. And that's the great thing about this stuff is you can just blend it right in without being too concerned about it being too much or too little. If you have too much, you just take a blank stump and you just pick it up. Now, as you can see, I've got a couple of different stumps here, and I have several more. When you're doing this sort of thing, you are going to want to have a few different stumps as well as a way to clean those stumps. Oh, I missed an area. I was doing that blending, so I'm just going to blend this in. And then I'll clean the stump so I can show you what I mean. Now that we've added a darker color to an area that we don't want to add too much more darkness. So I'm just going to blend this in. And then I'm going to show you how to clean your stumps, because there's several different ways to clean them. This is the easiest way I have found to clean my stump. Okay, so I'm going to put this one back. And I'm going to, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. So I have, this is a product that is created and purchased for actually cleaning your feet. It's called a Pumi Bar. It's by Mr. Pumice, and it is a pumice stick. And it's really soft, like it's hard, but it's soft. It's not like a solid, hard pumice bar. So as you can see, it wears down. So I'm trying to think of how to show this to you without making a huge mess, because it does make a bit of a mess. I usually just do it over the carpet and vacuum it up because I'm lazy. Um, but I will show you on the camera here. I'm just going to move everything out of the way so I don't get pumice all over the areas that I'm working on. So you take your pumice and your stick, and you just turn the stick as you're rubbing it on the pumice. Now you do this on the same way on your sandpaper as well, because as we all know, there's a sandpaper little thing that comes with your sticks. And then you just go around it, wipe it off, make sure all the pumice is off of it, and you have a clean stick. Same with this side. So I use the thinner side to get it into a fairly good tip, and then I use this side just to clean it all up and make sure that I've got all of the stuff off of it. Make sure that it comes off clean, and then you have your clean stick. There is a stain on my stick, so don't worry about the stain. If you can rub it on something and it comes off clean, then it's still clean. Okay, so there's one. Same with these bigger sticks. You just make sure that you get those edges, that tip is cleaned off. Then on the back side, we can throw our stick around. On the back side, you can shape it. And it just shapes it right up. Takes off any of the pastel that is on the stick. Let's do this side first. Just making sure I get all that pastel off the top. And then we can shape it. And like I said, they do have a sandpaper block bar thing of paper that sandpaper that you can use to do this the same way. I didn't like it. I found that it was not working for me. So I found that this worked so much better for me. Now this one here I have broken, as you can see. So now I have two. So if that happens, you can still use them. But if it starts tearing apart like this one is, it might be time to replace it. And I do have other ones, so I'm not too concerned about it. But to finish this project, I think I'll be fine. If you get loose papers, like if it starts unraveling like this one has, just unroll it a little bit. It'll be fine. All right, and this is the last one. This is the one. Oh, no, I don't think I used that one. Hold on. Yeah, no, that one's clean. Okay. And there's the mess that you get from the pumice bar, which is a little bit of pumice and a whole bunch of wood, or not wood, paper. But the pumice is something that you don't really want on your picture. So make sure that you wipe off the area that you're working on. Make sure that you um, clean up all the pumice off of your work surface, and off of your tools, like your paper stumps, so that when you do go to do something, you don't end up with a bunch of pumice in your project. All right, so I'm going to put this back under the page. So there we have our plaster work. I know I've gone over top of that, but I'm going to be adding the color pencil there so that in the brickwork, so that it will match with the upper area there. It's not as bright as the upper area, but that's okay. I actually prefer this. I like that, but I prefer this. I think it looks more realistic. So, off onto the mushroom. Let's see. So we're going to do a nice bright color on the mushroom. So we're going to grab this one. And we're going to take our stick. So this is China Red. And we're just going to put it on the mushroom. Now I'm not going to worry too much about the details, because I'm going to spread this out into a really, really thin amount. And the detail areas, I may go over it with colored pencil in tomorrow's Wellness Wednesday live stream, and we'll see if we can actually color right over top of the pastel. So once again, just going through, just going to put the red in here. This area here, I'm going to try to do a different color. And I am spreading it really thin. Once we get that down, then we're going to take a little bit of this orange. And this is vermilion. So I'm going to just take a clean side. We're going to take some vermilion and put it in there as well. I'm going to spread this out. And I'm going to go thinner here because I'm going to add another color. Bring that vermilion into that area there. So as you can see, you can end up mixing colors quite a bit, and they do blend together. So now I'm going to take another stump, and I'm going to take a yellow. So let's take permanent lemon yellow, and we're going to take this one. We've got a nice bright yellow here. I've got a little bit too much on there, so let's put that back. Just going to lift some of that up and move it off of there. And we're going to mix that into that orange, lightening up that orange a little bit. And it's just pushing it around, moving it around till it gets into all the areas you want it to be and gives the color that you want it to give. Like that. Same with this area over here. And give it a little bit of yellow in there. And then I'm just going to mix it in. And we can go on this side and just mix everything together. Spread it all around. Lift up what we're not going to use. Like so. And then for the underside there, so I've got a little bit here that needs to be pushed around still. And then we have the underside, which we're going to put that, I think it was this one that we were going to use for that. And I'm just going to use the small one and get the edge there. Get those shadow areas in there. So I'm just putting in the areas that I know are going to be shadows. Same with down here. I know there's going to be a shadow there and on the sides. Now there's little lights there, so the front is going to have a little bit more of that light color that we used up here. And we have the train coming through. And then up in here, get those dark areas in there. Alright, now we're going to take our medium one here and put that one back, and we're going to take our bean. Nope, this is unbleached. We want the bean first, and then we'll go in with the unbleached. So the bean we're going to put over the windows and around the windows. Now these windows are so small, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to make sure that there's a light coming from around the windows. And then we're going to take this one, which is the unbleached that we used for the plaster. And we're going to blend that into that darker color. Working that down the little tendrils there, and then down into the mushroom here. And if I do end up taking over the light yellow, that's okay as well, because I can put that back in with colored pencil. Just as long as this center area is lighter, so that when I go over it with the colored pencil, it can pick it up. But we can also do this and just put in a little bit more and just brighten those up just a touch. And there we have it. I think I need a little bit of that brown. Let's see, where did I put it? There it is. On this side here. So we'll just increase that a little bit there. Move things around a little bit here. So pretty much like any other picture, it's always a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, until you get to a point that you're satisfied with the product. So I want that out a little bit more, so let's grab that brown again. I think this was the one, maybe. No, I think it was this one. I know, I put it back and that was silly of me. It was this one. So I'm just going to put just a little bit more down here in the curve. There we go. And a little bit more up here. And there we have our mushroom. All right, so we have covered the house. So we've got the plaster done on the lower part of the house. We've got the mushroom done. And we will let this dry and cure. So as you use pastel, I'm going to stick this page in front here so that it doesn't transfer. But as you can see with this page here, there's no transference on my page that I've got in between it. I have been coloring on top of it, so it has been being rubbed on. But this is dried overnight. So once it is cured and dried, you can pretty much rub your hand on it and not move that pastel. So it's not going to need to be sealed. Um, I do suggest maybe putting a piece of wax paper or a piece of paper just in case you have a couple of little clumpies there that aren't dry yet, so that you don't rub that onto your other pages. But for now, and until tomorrow, when we finish this, most of this off in work in progress Wednesday, well, not work in progress, Wellness Wednesday. I'm still last year. Work in progress was last year. But we will do the finer details tomorrow. There is a little mousy door there. Isn't that cute? I did not see that. Okay, I gotta start looking now. Until tomorrow, guys, I hope that this has been educational, entertaining, and at least a little bit fun. Until then, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way to support the channel. If you do want to financially support the channel, you can do so by hitting that join button below the video. That will take you into our memberships. If you want to join us over on Facebook, feel free to do so. There is a link in the description box below as well as on my banner. And just fill out the application. Somebody will get you in, no problem at all. If you want to join me over on Discord, this is new. I'm not good at it, but we actually have a couple of voice chat rooms, so you can come hang out with us. So that if you want to come and sit and chat, or if you have any questions or need any help with something, if there's somebody in the chat room, pop on in there and say, "Hey guys, I need help with this. Can you help me?" Somebody will probably be able to help you. So, of course, the Discord link will be below the channel, below the video as well. Yeah, other than that, guys, happy Tuesday. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Of course, we are working on the mystical lands of Ushana this week. And of course, this entire month is dedicated to Karen E. Myers, absolutely wonderful artist that has been coloring adventures in secret realms for a while. I do enjoy her books. I do have almost every single one of them. I think I am one more short because I just bought another one. Because, yeah, you just gotta. Of course, I will link the book in the description below, as well as the Paul Rubin Oil Pastels. So these are the Paul Rubin Oil Pastels that I have been using. I have taken them out of their boxes and put them in my trays so that they're easily accessible to me. But yeah, other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Always remember to relax, color, and stay safe. Until next time, bye-bye for now.